Good day everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the October-November 2024 paper 2-1. I gave this paper to my students as a pre-mock in preparation towards their IGCSE exams. So I decided to treat it so that it can serve as both as a study tool for them and for us in class as well. So I believe all the students out there can equally benefit from this. So I hope you like it. All right, so do well to share to your friends who have need for it, those who are preparing for the IGCSE exams in May, June and beyond, or even in March. Yeah, okay, let's go straight to it. So as usual, we will be handling the programming part of the paper, and I am using Python as a programming language. Again, you can use whatever language that your school has chosen. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to read up some of these things just to give us an idea of what the problem is all about. A running club has 200 members, so you have a club of 200 members who compete in a 1 kilometer running competition every month. Members' names are stored in the one-dimensional array member name. So as usual, let me highlight this. So this is a 1D array member name. Each member's time in seconds for the kilometer run will be stored in another one-dimensional array. So this is still another 1D array member time. The position of each member's data in the two arrays is the same. So if you've been conversant with my videos or even conversant with the questions, you would realize the pattern. Okay, so there is always a pattern to all of this. So if you follow the pattern, the more problems you solve, the more you can easily get the pattern, and life will be a lot easier for you. All right, so the position of each member's data in the two arrays is the same. For example, the member stored at index 10 in member name and at index 10 in member time is the same. Okay, so that is always the pattern. All right, I don't think I should demonstrate this using Microsoft Excel. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. So let's look at it this way. So you have the member name. So I'm using just 5 names here. And then you have the member time. They are all 1D arrays. Okay. So this very question says this and these are in the same index. So this, if you're using pseudocode, this should be index 1. This is index 1. If you're using Python, this should be index 0. This is index 0. Okay, so they are on the same index. That is what the question is trying to explain to us. Okay, all right. So the running club awards a small prize to the members who have the top 3 times. So the top 3 times. So if we're going by this arrangement, the award should go to 1, should go to 2, should go to 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right, let's move on. The club also awards certificates to all members with a time under 240 seconds. So this is where the problem begins from. So as usual, you must use pseudocode or program code. You must add your comments. You do not need to initialize data in the array. Okay, you do not need to do this. You do not need to declare any arrays or variables. You may assume that this has already been done. Okay, all inputs and output must contain suitable messages. So this is very important. All right, so let me jump straight to it. As usual, I'm going to copy these guys to serve as my instruction and to also serve as my comments as well. So I'm going to comment them out and let's begin to solve the problem. Okay, allows members times to be input twice and verifies that the input matches. Okay, so we must enter it twice and verify at the same time. since our intention is to run this program, so it is important for us to initialize so that you can see the program run. Again, you do not need to do this in the exam since you're writing it on paper. Okay, so let's say member names. Member name, is it name? Okay, yeah, member name there. This is a 1D array. Now, I am going to use the names. Meanwhile, these are largely the names of my students and my co-teacher. All right, guys, don't kill me. Okay, so here we are. The other thing, we need member time as well. We need member time as well. What else do we need? We need member certificate. So the other thing I think we need to do here is that we need to also get the size of the team. Is it the team or the club? Okay, so let's use size. Now remember that size will be equal to the length of this array. Okay, now the reason I am leaving it at this length is because we want to just do it as an example. Ordinarily it should be 200. Please take note of that. Ordinarily it should be 200 as per the instructions in the question paper. Here we are, there, 200 members. So take note of that, please. All right, so for example's sake, we're leaving it at this length, which is basically 5. All right, so let's come here. Say allows members times to be input twice and verifies that they match. Okay, so you need to take 2 inputs. The first, let's say time 1, let's give it 0. Time 2, let's give it 1. Okay, all right, after that, what do we do next? So we need to loop to the number of the index that we have there. So that is this. So while time 1 is not equal to time 2. Okay, so I'm using this to ensure that the loop stays until the user complies. Time 1 equals, remember this is in seconds, so I think it's safe to use integer. So enter the time for. So let's find a way to display the name of the member that we're entering the time for, so that way it will be a lot interactive. Okay, enter the time for member. So member, we need to index it, so this will help us to enter the time for this first member. Okay, and then we can take it again. Time 2 equals, so we can just say repeat the time again. Let's say repeat or re-enter. Yeah, re-enter the time for the same person. So having done that, we need to display an appropriate message to confirm if it is okay or not. Okay, so if time 1 is not equal to time 2, then we need to display a message to let the user know that there is a mistake somewhere. Both times do not match. repeat the entire process. Repeat the process, repeat the entry. Okay, let's use that. Repeat the entry, the entries. Okay, so I think this should work. Do we need to test it? Let's try. So this is the idea. So we enter the time for, so it will pick for the first person. So let's say we're doing, okay, let's just use arbitrary numbers here. 2 into 340. So if we don't enter 340, we enter something different, it keeps us in the loop and we have to re-enter again. Okay, so 340, 340, so it can move. Okay, so there is a challenge here. Let's find out where the error is coming from. Aha, now there's something that we need to do. There's something that we need to do, but before that, let me quickly show us. So else, if they match, okay, if they match, we need to enter it into the member time. Okay, it allows members time to be input twice. Okay, so let's do that quickly. So member time dot append, which is any of them. Okay, it could be time 1 or time 2, considering that at this stage that they are the same. Now there's something we need to do here, because as long as these two times remain the same, this loop is going to end. So we need to just give it a crazy value. As a times equals a crazy value. Okay, so let's try it again and see how it works. Let's say 230, 230. Good. So it can, return to false here and allow us to continue to do this. You understand, right? It can return to true here and allow us to continue entering for the next person. Okay, so I think that works. Yeah, so there will be no need to repeat this whole thing again. Okay, so the next part is for us to sort this. Okay, so we need to sort the member time and the member name in ascending order of time. So we need to sort it in ascending order of time. Let me quickly show us back to the Microsoft Excel. So the idea is this: we sort this according to this time. So these members also need to be sorted. All right, so this is the idea. If we sort in ascending order according to time, ascending order from smallest to largest. So this is what we are expected to have. Yeah, good. So that's the idea. So the basic way to sort a 1D array is to put it in a double loop. Okay, so loop, so let's see this as the loop 1, the first loop in range. Remember size, because there are 200 members. So but in our case, as an example, we're doing just for 5 members. Okay, so we need to loop again. So you can choose any name you want to call it. You can call it loop 1, loop 2, or anything. So I choose to use index. Okay, in range. Okay, now the most effective way of having the quickest bubble sort, okay, is to do your size minus the values of this. I do not have the time to explain this trick here, but I'm very sure we have treated this in class, okay? Or for those who are not my students, you can easily find materials out there. Or if you would want me to talk about this, please leave a comment for me. I would look at it as a separate video. So we need to we need to deduct, do size minus the loop, which is this count here, minus 1. I don't really have time to explain this in this video because that is not the purpose, okay? But if you want me to, let me know. All right, so having done that, we now need to check if member time, this current member time, we need to check if it is greater than the next member time. We need to check if it is greater, than the next member time. Now, if that is the case, we need to swap them. Yeah, we need to swap them because the idea is this: to arrange them in ascending order. Yeah, here in ascending order. So you're swapping the biggest with the smallest. So moving this to the smallest, moving the smallest upwards and pushing the biggest downwards. Okay, so let me use an old Python trick. A Python trick. Okay, so what I just did here is going to swap them. So the idea is this: the value of this will be put into this, while the value of this will be put into this. Okay, all right, don't worry, we are going to test just to be sure that it is working. Now, having done this, I think we can test this to be sure to see if it is working. So let us print member name and then print member time. Before this printing, I think we should equally print it before the sorting. Okay, that way we'll exactly see what is happening here. All right, so I haven't done this. Let's try it and see how it works. Now I want us to use the values here so that we will confirm that it is working accordingly. So we'll have 230, 120, 230, 230, 120, 120. What's the other one? 130, 340. One 30, 340, 340. I think the last one is 250 or something. Yeah, 350, 350, 350. So let's see the result. Okay, there is a problem here. Sorry. Here is the mistake. Here. I need to do this. Sorry about that. So let's try it again. Yeah. So 230, 120. Okay. So 230, 230, 120, 120. What other value is that? 130 and 340. Okay, 130, 130, 340, 340. I think the last one is 350, 350. Good. So this worked. So let's confirm if it is correct. Okay, so we sorted the time, but we did not sort the name. So that's what happened here. Sorry. Okay, so let's sort the name as well. Okay. So member name. Sorry guys. Let's try this again and see how it works. Okay. I think 120, right? 230, 120. Okay. Okay, 350. 350. All right, so let's confirm if it's working. So Hosdrav had the number 230. So let's look for Hosdrav 230, position 3. Okay, so it looks very okay. So trying to confirm it with what we did here, 120, 130, 230, like that worked. And then the names accordingly, Rafia, Bonu, Hosdrav, Hosanba. Okay, so everything looks good. Okay. All right, so let's proceed. All right, so I'll put the members' names, times of the members with the top 3 times and identifies them as first, second, and third. So the idea is that you pick the highest time and display that as top, the second one, the second highest, second, and the third highest, third. Okay. So, but remember that we sorted this in ascending order. So the top should be at the bottom. Yeah. Good. The top should be at the bottom. So in our case here, Humayun should be first because he has the highest score. Hussein Boy should be second, accordingly. And then Hosrab should be third, accordingly. All right, let's do it. So how do we get the bottom? How do we get the bottom of the array here? So we need to put the name first and the time. Name and time. Okay. So member, sorry, we need to do this. Member name. So getting that to be -1. So first member name, learn the length of the array -1. Now the reason I'm using -1 is because Python starts is indexing from 0. So the last index here will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I use 5, which is the actual length, I will go into an exception, okay, an out of range exception. So it is important for us to take note of that. So I think, well, I can't really remember for other programming languages exactly, but I know that for pseudocode it begins from 1. So if you're using pseudocode, you do not need to do this. Okay. All right, let's proceed. So after doing this, we now need to display the times as well. Okay. Let's say at the time. So remember that the length will be the same for both. So you can just use the length of member time or member name, it will still work. Yeah. Okay. So this one is going to print the first, the last element. Okay. Which is the person with the highest time. So we can just copy and paste this here. Change this to second. And then this becomes -2. This becomes -2. Again, copy and paste. Change this to third. This becomes -3. And this becomes -3. Okay. So I think that will do the job. Now let's move on to the next one. I don't want us to try this now. We don't have that time. Okay. So we need to store the names of all the members who will receive a certificate in the array. Now let's go back to the question to find out the conditions again. The condition says that the club also awards certificates to all members with a time under 240 seconds. Okay, so we need to look for members whose times are under 240 seconds, and we will put their names in the array's member certificate, which is this one. All right, so we need to look through the member time. Okay, again, the size. If member time, the index, is less than 240, so remember that is the value that we were given, then what should we do? We should append that member's name. Okay, that's that. So this has settled that part for us. What else do we need to do? Okay, I'd put a message stating the number of certificates to be printed. Okay, so let's do that. That's the last thing we need to do here. So print. What are we supposed to do? We need to state you will print so how do we get the number? We need to get it by getting the length of member certificate. Yeah, so you will print dash certificates. Okay, you will print dash certificates. I think that will do it. Okay, so let's try this and see how it works using the same numbers that we used before, just to confirm if everything is okay. Are you ready? Let's go. I'm sorry that I'm going back and forth to get these numbers. Okay, so let's try this program using these numbers. I copied them here so that I won't have to go back and forth to confirm the numbers. All right. Okay, so let's go back to confirm. So remember, we've tested up to this point, so this is good. Good. So you see, first, Homoion at time 350. Okay, maybe we're supposed to add second to it. Yeah, 350 second. Where is that thing again? Second. So let's just do S to it. S to it. S to it. Okay. And then the third is Fusraf at that number, which is very correct. Yeah. First, second, third. And then you will print 3 certificates. How is that? This is less than 240, less than 240, less than 240. These ones are the ones who are higher. Okay, so that's that. So I believe this sorts out the problem. I wish you guys all the best in your exams. Work hard, okay? Thank you. Please do well to share to your friends. Those of them who need this, do well to share to them. See you guys in the next video. Bye.